What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, I got to talk about this because there are some big-time playmakers for the Indianapolis Colts through the first 2 weeks of the NFL season. I know it's only the first 2 weeks, but these guys couldn't really get much better if you tried. So we have to go ahead and bring this into fruition. But before we hop into it, guys, just want to say again, this stream is sponsored by FanDuel. Guys, as it currently sits, the Indianapolis Colts, they are a 3.5-point favorite on the road against the Tennessee Titans. It's on the road, and I know a lot of people, including myself, they're looking at that and they're like, that's pretty disrespectful. Tennessee Titans, who are 0-2 versus the Indianapolis Colts that are 2-0. Like, what are we doing here? But you have to remember, it's a divisional game. It's a divisional game. And while albeit Tennessee has lost both of their games, they did fight pretty hard against both of these opponents for the time being. So definitely will probably be a good game, but I hope the Indianapolis Colts will blow them out. But again, guys, we have to hop into this because the amount of pure playmakers that have been going through this team right now through the first couple weeks, I have to go through the numbers, Mac. This is just absolutely insane. Like, this is on a level, especially offensively, that we have not seen from the Indianapolis Colts since the Peyton Manning era. Like, that's literally where we're at right now, and it's mind-boggling to me. So let's just start here. Okay, so first things first, before we even hop into the players, just have to say Shane Steichen is in his bag right now. The game planning and the preparation and the scheme to help Daniel Jones and this offense get to where it needs to go, it's been very good. It's been very good. The play designs, some of the stuff that they're doing, it's just absolutely insane. So I love what I'm seeing from Shane Steichen and how we're preparing for these types of moments, which is huge. That's how it all starts. Now, it goes down to the players executing. You have to go first things first with Daniel Jones. So let's look at all these numbers, shall we? Daniel Jones, so far through the first 2 weeks of the NFL season, has an adjusted completion percentage of a 74.1. 74.1. I mean, guys, that's insane. And this is not just dinking and dunking everything. Like, Daniel Jones is making throws that are 20-plus yards down the field multiple times in each game so far. Not only is he completing the ones that are underneath, but completing everything beyond the 5-10 yard line. It's truly insane. I mean, again, regardless of where he's throwing the football at, if you're going to complete 70% of your passes in the NFL, that is hyper efficiency, and you can do virtually no wrong there. Also has 588 passing yards so far in these first 2 weeks. That is second in the NFL, only behind Russell Wilson, who has 618 as it currently stands. And you have to think of the Giants, too, who were down behind the Commanders for the majority of their first game, and so they had to throw a lot. And then, obviously, against the Cowboys, where the Giants couldn't really run the ball as much to keep up offensively, they had to throw the football. So, I mean, that's insane that he is second in the NFL in passing yards. Truly incredible. 5 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks of the NFL season. That's 1 touchdown more than Josh Allen. Now, granted, he has had 3 rushing touchdowns. Now, those have come from the QB sneaks that we do, but it doesn't matter. Those are still touchdowns. You still have to cross the goal line. You still have to get to the goal line to be able to obtain a rushing touchdown. So I don't care. It's still 5 touchdowns. They count as points either way. So 5 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks of the NFL season for Daniel Jones. Also with a passer rating of a 111. 111. Pretty sure that's top 5 still in the NFL at this current moment. And the number one thing that is the biggest indicator of him being all the way here, no turnovers. None. Has had no turnovers. He's practically only thrown about 3 or 4 passes through the first 2 weeks that even were remotely capable of being intercepted at any point, which is incredible. That's a phenomenal job, to say the least, when you're talking about that sort of impact. So not only is he scoring, and not only is the offense moving the ball across the field, but you're able to also not turn the ball over. And again, they had 2 times where they turned the ball over on downs in that Denver game, but you were past the 50-yard line both of those times, which is incredible. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute when we're talking about this. But we got to keep going with this. We'll clump the whole offense together in a group here in a minute. Okay, so another player, Jonathan Taylor, who at this moment currently leads the NFL in yards through the first 2 weeks of the NFL season, currently has 236 rushing yards. Now, to put that into perspective, Travis Etienne has 214 through the first 2 weeks. Derrick Henry has 192 through the first 2 weeks. James Cook has 176, and Bijan Robinson with 167. So, again, I mean, not only has Jonathan Taylor reascended and has gone back into it and has not only been the running back that we typically know he is, he's elevated his game. And credit to Shane Steichen for finding ways to get Jonathan Taylor involved in the passing offense too. I mean, again, guys, Jonathan Taylor of 43 carries for 236 yards. I mean, he has been phenomenal in being able to get the rushing the way he wants. But not only can we say that, through the first 2 weeks, also has 5 catches for 77 yards and a touchdown in there too. I mean, it's incredible what Jonathan Taylor has not only been able to do in the run game, but also in the pass game. And not only that, Jonathan Taylor has improved in the pass blocking. He has become a much better pass blocker in the backfield. He has been protecting Daniel Jones very, very well. And I love what I'm seeing from that, because that was a major issue for the Indianapolis Colts the last couple of years. And part of the reason why you drafted DJ Giddens at times, because you didn't think much of Jonathan Taylor as a guy that could catch out of the backfield, protect the quarterback. But Jonathan Taylor has been a complete running back. Everything. He's been running the football, catching the football, blocking for Daniel Jones. He, right now, is playing through the first 2 weeks as the best running back in the NFL. Through the first 2 weeks. Now, moving on to another guy here, Tyler Warren, a rookie who has all the talent in the world, who was proclaimed as one of the easiest prospects in the world to draft because he was such a dynamic player at Penn State. This is a guy that could catch the ball. This is a guy that could run with the football. This is a guy that could throw the football. There's nothing that this guy cannot do, even without the football in his hands. Still an amazing blocker. Just everything. Everything about this guy oozes greatness. And so far through the first 2 weeks, he has been nothing but that. Tyler Warren, 155 yards receiving at tight end for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I wanted to say this. So not only does he have the most receptions and the most yards on the Indianapolis Colts, he also has the most yards of any tight end in the NFL right now. He has 15 more receiving yards than Tucker Kraft does, who is the second, and then Trey McBride, who is right behind him. He leads the NFL in receiving yards for a tight end. And this is our rookie. Do I smell offensive rookie of the year? It might be. It might be. And this is another crazy stat. So I just want to point this out. For Warren, he only needs like 6 more receptions and like 60-something yards to have more yards and catches, more production than our leading tight end, Kylen Granson, did last year. It took Kylen Granson an entire year to get the numbers that Tyler Warren got in 2 weeks. Now, granted, you have to mention the quarterback that is throwing him the football. I totally agree. But that is remarkably crazy to think about. It shows you just how wide of a gap the talent level was at the tight end position for the Indianapolis Colts the last few years. What Tyler Warren has been able to do for the Indianapolis Colts through these first couple games has just completely opened up the offense for the Indianapolis Colts. Absolutely insane. Another thing, the Indianapolis Colts offensive line currently tied for the 4th best in the NFL in sacks allowed. They have only allowed 2 through the first 2 weeks. And again, you are facing a brilliant front 7 in the Miami Dolphins. Now, granted, Miami Dolphins, their secondary is not great. I didn't say that they didn't. But their front 7, they got some dogs up there. They can get after the quarterback. And they barely got to Daniel Jones. And you just faced a Denver Broncos team that is one of the best defenses in the entire NFL, bar none. And they get after the quarterback. They just sacked Cam Ward 6 times in week 1. They sacked Daniel Jones 1 time. 1 time. And I want to say this. In addition to all these numbers that the offense has been putting up, right? With Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor, all these other guys are putting up, right? This has all been while Daniel Jones has been blitzed 50% of his dropbacks against the Miami Dolphins and 71% against Denver. I mean, this isn't a case of the Indianapolis Colts just facing 4-man fronts. It's not. These teams have had to try drastically to get after Daniel Jones because when they bring 4, Daniel Jones has all day in that pocket. The Colts are too good offensively up front to be facing teams with a 4-man rush. Daniel Jones just doesn't get pressured that way. You have to bring blitzes. And yes, they did get pressure on Daniel Jones in the second game against the Denver Broncos. Not nearly as much week 1 for the Dolphins. They weren't as effective at it as Denver was. Denver pressured Jones on 40% of his dropbacks. Yes, that's definitely more than you'd like. But Denver was bringing it a lot more. And their defensive front, a lot better. So it was harder. But they were able to make it work still. Only giving up 2 sacks in the first 2 weeks. I don't think Daniel Jones has ever had that. Ever. Now, to go further into these two players, one on the defense and one on special teams. Cameron Bynum tied for the most interceptions in the NFL through the first 2 weeks with 2. I mean, dude, talk about the addition that Cameron Bynum has been. I mean, there were some people that were trying to tell me that Cameron Bynum was not worth it, or at least the money that Ballard gave him. So far through the first couple weeks, you guys are having a bad day when it comes to that argument. I mean, that's what he has done. He has been phenomenal, man. He's been phenomenal. There's been a couple plays he's almost had more interceptions. So, love what Cameron Bynum has been bringing to the defense, man. That turnover specialist, right? And then the final player here for the Indianapolis Colts, Spencer Schrader. Again, a guy that has been off a practice squad, on practice squad, off a practice squad, on practice squad, new team. Finally gets his shot to be an NFL kicker. He has the most made field goals in the NFL through the first 2 weeks with 9. He hasn't missed a single field goal since. Now, obviously, he missed the 60-yarder against Denver, which obviously he did not have the leg for. But that one got called back, and he got a chance to redeem himself, and he hit it. And I will say this, thank you to Spencer Schrader, because he is on my fantasy team. He's on my fiance's fantasy team, and we absolutely love him over here. But again, Spencer Schrader being able to be in the circumstance where he can do that tells you everything you need to know about this Colts offense and what they have been able to do. I mean, again, you don't get in a point to make 9 field goals if you don't get in position to score. So, I mean, absolutely incredible what we have seen. And it's kind of funny, too, because of the top 10 kickers in the NFL with total field goals made, 3 of those kickers are in the AFC South. Spencer Schrader at number 1 with 9 field goals made. Joey Sly for Tennessee has made 8, and he's number 2. And Cam Little is tied for 3rd with a few other players with 6 field goals made. So, again, Schrader, he's not in a position to make field goals if the offense is not getting in positions to score, right? So another couple things here, those are just more individual player accolades and what we've seen through the first couple weeks. Guys, from a team perspective, the Indianapolis Colts have recorded 891 yards of total offense in the first 2 games of the season. That is the most to start a season since 2001. It's been almost 25 years since the Colts have been this good at moving the ball down the field. Almost 25 years. That was back when the machine of Peyton, Marvin, Egren, Dallas, Reggie, that's when that machine started to pick up. Now, it wasn't all those, and I don't think all those guys were there in 01, but that's when that machine started picking up. So think about it. Again, we keep saying it. This Colts team is putting up numbers we haven't seen since the Peyton era. And that was regarded as one of the better offenses in the regular season of all time. And the Colts are doing those numbers. And not to mention, the Colts are the first team in NFL history to score on each of their first 10 possessions to start a season. So the first 10 offensive possessions that the Indianapolis Colts have had to start this year, they ended up scoring in some way, shape, or form. First team to do that in NFL history. Not to mention, if you broaden it out, of the 16 possible offensive possessions that the Indianapolis Colts have had so far, the Colts have scored on 14 of them. The only 2 we didn't score was against the Denver Broncos in that game. They had us turn over on downs, but yet we were still in opponent territory when we did it. So the Indianapolis Colts still got the ball on their side of the field, marched to the opponent's side of the field, and yeah, sure, we turned it over on downs there, but doesn't matter. We still were moving the ball down the field. There has not been a single possession this year where the Colts have not been in enemy territory. It's funny to hear that, to say that out loud, because that's so hard to do because no other team does it. I mean, every team has that one drive where it's just like, oh shoot, what a stinker. You know, like we got a penalty and we marched it back, or like we turned the ball over once, whatever, in a blowout. Doesn't matter. The Colts have yet to have a possession where they did not make it to enemy territory. That's incredible. And only on 12.5% of drives that the Colts have not scored, which is incredible. I mean, it really is. I could go on forever, guys, talking about this. We're going to just drop it right there. But guys, let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this. This Colts offense and some other players on this team are just doing things that really are making a huge difference for this team right now. Let me know what you're thinking right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.